When you modify the foundation of the food system, you modify the foundation of human health. We did something extraordinary and perhaps deeply naive. We redesigned the genetic structure of our food so that it could survive being drenched in chemicals designed to kill living things. Pause for a moment and really consider that. We altered the organism, not to nourish us more completely, not to deepen its resilience in harmony with nature, but so it wouldn't die when exposed to poison. Now the question is not whether that's clever. The question is whether it's wise. The earliest genetically modified crops were not engineered primarily for better nutrition. They were engineered for compatibility. Compatibility with herbicides, particularly glyphosate. And that decision didn't emerge in isolation. It sits at the end of a long chain of prior decisions, each one seemingly rational, each one solving the problem created by the previous solution. In the early 20th century, agriculture industrialised. Farmers were encouraged to abandon crop rotation, to push yields higher, to treat soil less like a living ecosystem and more like a production unit. And for a time, it worked. Yields increased. But soil, when treated merely as substrate, begins to degrade. So nutrients depleted, erosion intensified, biological complexity diminished. Then came the post-World War II revolution. Petroleum-based fertilisers. Nitrogen is synthesised from fossil fuels, a technological triumph. Fields revived, at least superficially. But now fertility came not from biological richness, but from chemical supplementation. The system had changed, and once herbicides entered the picture in full force, weeds adapted, as living systems do. So the next solution appeared almost inevitable. Engineered crops that could survive direct herbicide application. Modify the plant so you can spray the field. Elegant in its logic, profound in its implications. Here's where we must think carefully. Each technological intervention increased dependency on the next. Less soil diversity, more fertilizer. More fertilizer, more fragility. More fragility, more chemical protection. More chemicals. Engineered crops to tolerate them. A feedback loop. Now in some regions, soils are severely degraded. Biological richness has declined. You see, food production depends on a tightly managed chemical system, and alongside this, we observe rising chronic illness, neurological disorders, metabolic dysfunction. Now let me be precise. Correlation is not causation. It would be irresponsible to claim simple answers to complex biological phenomena, but when you re-engineer entire ecosystems to function around chemical inputs, you cannot assume there will be no systemic cost. Biology is not infinitely negotiable, and nature keeps accounts. So we must ask ourselves, are we cultivating food or managing chemistry? Is maximum yield the same thing as long-term nourishment? When did efficiency quietly replace resilience as the highest good? Because resilience is what sustains civilizations. Efficiency without wisdom destabilizes them. Consider the language. Organic is marketed as if it were some fashionable innovation, a premium upgrade for the enlightened consumer. But historically speaking, organic agriculture is simply agriculture. For thousands of years, human beings worked with soil biology. Not against it, but with it. What we now call conventional farming is, in historical terms, a radical experiment. The inversion happened so gradually that few noticed. The default shifted. Chemical dependence became normal, and anything else became niche. Glyphosate did not merely eliminate weeds, it altered the structure of agriculture, and perhaps the structure of our relationship with nature itself. This is not a conspiracy. It is a cascade of decisions, made in good faith, driven by productivity, reinforced by profit, and rarely examined at the level of long-term consequence. The real question is not whether we are clever enough to engineer nature. Clearly, We are. The question is whether we are wise enough to understand the responsibility that comes with that power. Because when you modify the foundation of the food system, you modify the foundation of human health. And that is something you should feel very deeply. And some, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., for example, have proposed banning glyphosate, only to encounter resistance even from within his own circles. At first glance, that seems reasonable. But when you examine it closely, the situation is far more complicated. Modern agriculture is not just about planting crops and tending soil. It is a vast, interdependent system. Economics layered on logistics, layered on global trade, layered on debt structures, layered on the survival strategies of generations of farmers. You can't simply remove one element and expect the cathedral to stay standing. Farmers are not the villains of this story. They operate within limits. Narrow profit margins, rigid contracts, rising input costs, land payments, and regulatory demands. Asking them to abandon glyphosate overnight, and you're not suggesting a small change, you're introducing a shock to an entire system, and complex systems do not respond well to sudden disruption. So the real question isn't whether someone calls for change, it's whether the system itself can adapt. And systems adapt when incentives shift, not when speeches are delivered. Markets respond when behaviour changes. If enough people steadily choose food grown with fewer synthetic inputs, if buying habits slowly shift toward organically produced grains, flours, soft-skinned fruits and vegetables, supply chains will follow. Not because someone had a moral epiphany, but because economics responds to demand. This is not cynical, it's structural. And then there's a deeper truth. Organic is often presented as a luxury, a trendy option. Historically, however, it was the default. For thousands of years, humans cultivated food in harmony with living soil, rather than relying on heavy synthetic chemicals. What we now call conventional farming is the large-scale experiment. And experiments demand humility, because altering biological systems at scale carries consequences that unfold over decades. The mature response is not blind rejection. It is not blind faith. It is a careful recalibration. Healthier soil produces more resilient crops. Resilient crops build stronger food systems. Stable food systems support human health. This is not a political argument. It is biological. We are not detached observers. We are participants. And we too are organic. So here's the thing. The next time you're grabbing flour, bread, eggs, milk, or even soft-skinned fruit and vegetables, reach for the organic. Don't just nod along and say, yeah, that's good. Actually do it. Because if we all start buying this way, they will notice. The system will notice. And guess what? That's how change actually happens. After all, they grow it for us. They rely on us to buy it. We're the ones holding the reins. We're the ones in charge. Not the corporations, not the politicians. Us.
Brought to you by A.I.R. Anxiety in reverse. To God be the glory.
For informational and entertainment purposes only, not medical or professional